So you want to record guitar at home in a home studio, but you don't have the money to do it like this. And I know you might be thinking, well, I can't do it because I need all of that stuff to do it. Actually, you don't. You don't need it. And today I'll be going over exactly what you need to start your home studio on a budget. The simplest setup you can possibly get to start recording your guitar and making some really great music. And if you find this stuff valuable, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. When we look up recording studios, even some home studios, it's a little scary because we see some massive setups out there. Let alone the cost of all of that equipment is insane. So because of that, a lot of times we just hesitate or we don't move forward and we don't look into other ways of doing it. So let's talk about a very economical way, a very budget-friendly way to start getting some amazing sounding recordings right now. So obviously, guitar. You'll need one of those, probably. But chances are, you already have that. Done. Guitar's done. Next thing is a thing called a computer. Like, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It could be just a laptop as long as it has everything you need in it to run the software I'm going to talk to you about. But a computer. Computer. Check. But obviously, we can't just have a guitar and have the sound go right into the computer. Unless you're me at the age of 13 plugging directly into the sound card and it sounded horrible. Now they sell USB audio interfaces. And the buzzword of all this year, last year, and forever is Focusrite. Now, of course, you could get Focusrite audio interfaces that are massive. They can house an entire drum set plus some. But you're a guitar player. Just like you don't lug around all the equipment to shows, you don't need a ton of stuff to record. Why does anybody play drums anyway? So much work. This one is the Scarlett Solo. Literally just a single XLR in and an instrument cable 1/4 jack in. And the way I could explain why this is so necessary is that when your guitar is producing sound, obviously it needs to change or it needs to go through a process to become digital. And that's exactly what these do for you in your guitar recording process. Just plug right in via USB. Done. And if spending a couple $100s on something like a Focusrite isn't up your alley, there are plenty of other alternatives that are like 30, 40, 50 bucks that'll do the job. By the way, all of the hardware and software and everything I'm mentioning is all listed in links in the description. And to complete our setup, we just need a couple more things. Number one, a great pair of studio headphones or studio monitors, both of which, again, I have links in the description for you. But obviously we need to hear the sound coming from the computer, and these are the best ways to do it. And last but not least, way too many cables, which you probably already have. Okay, so we've got the computer, check. We've got the audio interface, check. We've got headphones or monitors, check. It's all plugged into the guitar and routed properly. Perfect. I can't record in solitaire, so how do I record the music? Where do I actually put the sounds on the computer? Welcome to the world of digital audio workstations. That's what DAW stands for. A DAW, simply put, takes all of the information from that USB interface that your guitar fed to it and displays it in tracks. It actually creates audio waveforms out of your guitar through the box into the computer. And by the way, there are a ton of free DAWs out there that I highly recommend you start with. Things like Audacity, Ableton, Reaper, the list goes on and on and on. Links for those are also in the description, shocker. But if you do want to splurge and you want to get a paid version just to have more beef, there are things out there like Pro Tools and what I personally use, Cubase. Either way, you just need a DAW in place to convert that signal into an audio waveform. So we've got all the hardware, we've got the software. How do we start? Plug your guitar directly into the USB audio interface. Plug either your headphones or your monitor speakers into there as well, because you'll be monitoring sound from this and not your computer directly. In other words, this becomes your sound card through your DAW. Plug this directly into the computer via USB. Open your DAW and select this as the audio driver. Create a track and select which track you're plugged into and you're ready to go. Literally that easy. Now, of course, if you want to go above and beyond, there are all kinds of upgrades in terms of software that you could look into. There are VSTs, there are plugins. I love using Neural DSP. which is just an amp modeler, so I literally just plug my guitar directly into here instead of having to potentially mic an amplifier and use the XLR. Or if I have a direct out from my amp going directly in from there into the USB interface, I'll literally just plug the guitar directly into the USB interface. And then I rely on things like neural DSP to produce the amp tones that I need in the track. Let alone you can get things like Superior Drummer, or even something called Easy Drummer, to give you a solid framework to build drum parts through the DAW. That's right, MIDI, authentic audio sounding drum parts. That way you're not just recording guitar, you can actually compose and start to write entire songs. So in sum, if you are really excited about the idea of starting to record music but you just don't know where to start small. When I first started recording, like I said, I plugged directly into the computer, for goodness sakes. And then I bought my first interface, and that was it. And I started working heavily with that, getting to know the hardware, getting to know the software. Of course, I upgraded DAWs over time. I got more equipment added to the stack. But even when I just had this moving, I made some incredible sounding songs that were mastered, produced, and put out to the world. Again, right now you can go crazy if you want to, but I highly recommend starting small and then building from there based on what your needs and desires are in your recording setup. And you'd be amazed because technology has come such a long way since I was plugging directly into the computer that just this makes amazing sound. So obviously, if you have any questions, hit us up in the comments here. If this was valuable, like, share, subscribe so you can see all of these videos. And also, for those of you recording now, tell me what you're using, what you love, what you hate, what your dream setup is in the comments as well. And hey, happy recording.